and welcome to Riff Talks. We are finally back with a new episode of Riff Talks. I know we were on a break for a little bit, but it is now back. We have a special guest today coming on, talking about the Boost ElectroJunk pedal. So right now what I'm going to do is, before he joins, I'm going to throw it on, and I'm going to let you guys hear what it does to clean up some of the muddiness on the Dumble Destroyer here. We're going to get some heavy riffs going on, then we're going to have Tory himself come in and have a chat about this. Seriously cleans up the Dumble Destroyer so well. It sounds absolutely amazing. I see him here. We're going to invite him here onto Riff Talks, and we're going to have a chat and see what's going on. Just give me 1 sec. We're just going to riff around until he joins. So without the boost, with the boost. Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Sorry if I'm yelling. The amp is right by my head. It's extremely loud in here, but I'm having so much fun with this boost pedal. It is unbelievable. It really cleans up my other distortion and stuff. Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you for coming on to Riff Talks. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Tory. I run ElectroJunk pedals. It's a one-man band, so I do everything.
It is.
Yeah, and I started doing this officially, like ElectroJunk pedals became a thing in like January, February.
Okay, so is this like the official release of the boost here? You sold a couple before, right?
Yeah, I sold earlier versions that were a little less refined, and like I made some changes, like a lot of aesthetic changes, and like little changes that made it a little easier for me to get the pedal going.
All right, I love the fact the PCB itself is the little ghost. You did go all out on it. The earrings, like my wife lost it when she seen the earrings, so that was absolutely perfect. I love all the details you put into it, man. It's so cool. I'm really glad to have you on Riff Talks.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here. And like for the PCB, it's like, I don't know, I like opening the back of pedals. I think it's cool. And especially like some pedals, like Electro Harmonics, if you open them, you'll see like little things written, like the little phrase. And like that's so cool. So I thought it would be like even better if you open up the pedal and there's something like another secret in there.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love all the little Easter eggs. It's so good.
Yeah, and also too, like, I don't know, like I get sad when I see a really beautiful pedal on the outside and then you look on the inside, it's so like square and boring.
Yeah. Like to keep it a little fresh, add your own little zazz to it, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm really inspired by a lot of like PCB art that people do in other like fields, like computer design, or like they have a lot of these little festivals where they do PCB design. So like a lot of those like badges and things would be like crazy PCB art, like things I can't even imagine doing.
Really? I haven't seen that. I'm definitely going to have to check that out because it sounds really cool.
Yeah. So it's like my attempt at something like that.
Pretty well, I really do love it. And the full range on this, that's great. going through the orange, just on the clean channel, it's by itself in overdrive. It's huge. And I found the Bumble Destroyer over here kind of had a lack of mids in it. It sounds really heavy, but pumping this through it, it's absolutely unbelievable. I actually have a video coming out at 10 tonight, just alone, because it's so much fun. I've been playing it all day. So, funny does, how did you get into building pedals?
Yeah, so I kind of, during like COVID, I kind of started milling the idea around. A lot of it is like because I saw a video from JHS of him like opening a fuzz face. Okay. And then I was like, oh, it's like, there's like nothing in there. I'm like, this doesn't look, like I could probably do this. And not in like a disrespectful way, I'm just like, oh, okay. I thought it was like witchcraft when you open the back of it.
Yeah, some of them are, the modulation and stuff just gets way out of control. But yeah, the fuzz face, you're just like, oh, really? It's just, that's
yeah, because like, I don't have it, maybe it's here or not, but like, I have this flashback delay, and that's witchcraft in the back of it. It's like, yeah. And it's like intimidating to take the back off of it. But like, I saw the fuzz face, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that at least.
I have flashback times 4, and I don't even want to look at the insides of it. I don't know anything. That's all magic and wizardry, 100%.
Yeah, it's great. Like, even for me, sometimes when I see what some other pedal companies are doing, it's mind-boggling. But yeah, so that kind of started, and then so it's kind of a weird long story. Like, I was living in Brazil for like 5 years.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, so in Brazil, like, you can have access to most things, but like things with technology and electronics are like through the roof expensive.
Okay.
Like, I started watching these videos in the pandemic in Brazil, but I couldn't really like move on it. I couldn't do anything. And then when I got back here to Canada, it was still like crazy pandemic. Like, everything was shut down still. So like, I kind of locked up in my little studio apartment. So I had to do something.
Yeah, you had to do something by the time.
Yeah. And then just from there, once I started to learn some of the things like how to design and like how a basic circuit works, I'm like, okay, I think this is enough where I can start to like run with it. Yeah, and then like eventually led to the Boost. It was supposed to be out by last Halloween, and like I missed that release date by almost a year.
I could see this actually launch again. I've been following you for a while, and I've been watching you along the way. It's good to actually see this come to fruition and actually have it and hear it. It's awesome. What a Boost pedal? Just curious.
Sorry, say that again.
What made you go with a Boost pedal?
Okay, so to be honest, it's kind of like a little bit of OCD impulse buying. Because like when I started, I was like, I really want like a fuzz, like a germanium fuzz for myself. And I found this source where I could buy the transistors. But like they were Polish and they were military, like, so they're like, that's good. Usually military spec is like something you want. But like weird codes, and they kind of just like had, this is the equivalent of this kind of. And anyways, I bought a bunch and I tested, and like out of 70, I got maybe 16 good transistors.
Wow, that little.
Yeah, but honestly, that's pretty good. Like it.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad, so I'm just like 16 out of 70.
No, it's really like, I think maybe it was 16 or 17, and like that's pretty good. The problem is like to do specific fuzzes, I didn't like quite have the right specifications like on the transistors. So I was like, what am I going to use these for? And then I'm like, maybe if I use them individually, like I don't have to worry about matching things. And I started looking at like one transistor boosts, and then eventually I found the Dallas Range Master, and I'm like, okay, this is perfect for what I have. I'm like a lot of like, not intentionally, but it seems like coincidentally, I end up just like making stuff with what I have available instead of like the perfect thing.
Well, it's good to do, because if you have a bunch of stuff lying around, you might as well see what you can come up with. It's very creative of you to do it that way instead of like trying to plan it out. I know, I'm sure there's lots of planning going on, but like just using what you have time.
Yeah, and also like it's kind of the whole pedal has that vibe because like the bubble wrap in the pedal comes from my stock orders because I'm like it's a lot of plastic. I don't just want to like throw it out or recycle it. Yeah. So I'm like I might as well reuse it. Like
I do love that. I just want to point out that one thing. I can't get enough of this.
Yeah, it's great.
That is something else, man. That's cool.
Yeah, that was a last minute. So again, like I had a vision in mind of what I wanted the instruction card to be. I didn't just want it to be a little paper booklet, which they're fine, but I was like, I can't write 10 pages about this boost pedal. And like it's very simple.
Yeah, it's pretty just the basic stuff. People do get overwhelmed.
Yeah, and it would be great for me to get technical and do all this, but it's like it's one control and a switch. So like I think you're gonna figure it out.
If you want to draw the technical knowledge of the boost and the circuit, that's the place to do it, man. Feel free.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to make like an instruction card, but I didn't want like I went to different places to look at like cardstock, and it was all like way too thin. I'm like, it's gonna be flimsy. It's gonna bend. It's just gonna be another piece of trash, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I also couldn't find the size I wanted. So then I just thought like, oh wait, I can make PCBs and I can just make them the thickness I want. So yeah,
so
I just did that. Yeah, it's a PCB. So the shiny parts are like the coating that you solder to. So that's why it's shiny. It's like metallic-ish. It's like a fake metallic.
That's extremely creative.
Yeah, if you wanted to, you could solder wires to the shiny parts. It won't do anything, but it's
it's really ingenious, man. Wow, that's like an extra mile, an extra step.
Well, I think that's the only. I would shed it for a while, and like, yeah, I got like decent at circuit design, but I got really good at doing these PCBs. So I was like, I'm gonna have to use this as much as I can. Because it's like my main thing I'm good at.
Yeah. Like, what made you go with the three-way toggle switch? Like the full range, I've been playing around with this through bass, and you've seen the video I posted earlier. I had my buddy Gary Sweetleaf Miller come in and play some bass riffs. He absolutely loves it too. And the different settings, it just cleans it up so much or really pushes it over the top. So where was the idea? You just wanted to jam-pack more than just the classic mid in there, right?
To be honest, like, the original Dallas Rangemaster treble booster is great, but it, like, was made for a specific purpose. And it was made, like, specifically because there was a problem at the time. Like, the amps were dark. Like, the Dallas Rangemaster was made in the UK. So a lot of the amps they had were kind of dark. And, like, it's funny because Brian May of Queen uses it on like his rig with a Vox AC30, which isn't like dark, but he puts it in the darker channel. So it's like he's
so it's dark and then boosts up the bright.
Yeah, because it gets like a really good grind and it really cuts through things well. But the only thing is, I have a Telecaster, and like I like bright sounds in my amp normally. So like. Yeah, the treble is like, it's great, but it's like, it will take your head off.
Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of, like, I love Telecasters, but the twanginess is just over the top. To me, like, I had a Strat a while ago, and I couldn't do it. It's going to, like, the Orange Crush, and I put fuzz on it. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? So, like, that's why I use the Carina here, and it's dropped down so low, it's in C standard. And, like, the boost, I'm just so surprised. Like, it is meant, I can see what you mean by it's meant for a darker amp because the orange has a dark tone.
Yeah.
It's it right up, makes it pop. It's lovely.
Yeah, and it's honestly, it's really good for metal players because, like, as you start to add more gain, you tend to lose clarity.
Yeah.
And depending, like, some people have really, like, well, no, all amps can be good or bad, but, like, some people have amps that can really compensate for that well, like with upper mids and like boosting those signals you need to hear. But also too, like sometimes just like a treble boost or a mid boost will like start to do something different with the amp. It's weird, like I heard this thing about John Mayer, because like I'm a big fan of like John Mayer and blues and stuff, and like I'm kind of all around. But he was like talking about on his Strat, he uses the position that has no mids, and then he uses his Klon because it adds all the mids back in, and it's not the same as just having a setting with mids without the pedal. Like the interaction of taking something away and then adding it in another way is really interesting.
Well, yeah, that's what I really like about pedals. It's how they interact with the guitar and then the amp itself. You don't just put the pedal on and crank it up. Like, I like to dive in my amp. Usually for videos, I keep it at noon. It's so nice how, like, it reacts differently with the volume knobs and then with the different amps. And, like, I'll set the double to something and then switch the mids on the amp itself and get that beautiful flavor. And I can see what you mean, like John Mayer doing that. That's crazy. I really like that.
Well, it's funny, like, if you look into, like, like, different videos with, like, producers and things, sometimes they'll do things like that. Like, if you look into how they produce records and mix them, sometimes they'll cut something in one spot and then boost it again in a different section.
All right, yeah.
It's just interesting, but, like, with the boost, the thing is the treble booster doesn't work for everyone. A mid boost doesn't always work for everyone. And sometimes a full range boost, if you have a really bassy guitar, isn't going to work for everyone. So it's nice to have some options.
Well, so the full range with the distortion on the amp itself is a little too much. It just gets crazy. But if I put it on the mid or the treble, it works perfectly. Just by itself, the full range on the clean is just an overdrive. I crank it up and turn the amp down just a little bit, full effect of the boost. Huge sound.
Yeah, it's crazy, like, the output on this.
Yeah, I think it's Riff Mountain. That's super cool of you. Thank you very much for thinking about the Riff Mountain and my demos and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Well, like, I liked them from before, so I picked a variety of different reviewers to work with the pedal. Because, like...
it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And the big thing about, like, the pedal is, like, it's a fun pedal. Like, it's a pun. Like, it's a thing, like, only guitarists get. It's an inside joke. So, like, it's not a too serious thing.
So, how many? You said you have 7 left? You have 7 left for pre-order.
Yeah, so, for me, because I'm a one-man band, I do have a day job. So, to do more than 10 is a pretty big undertaking. Like, for one guy. So yeah, I'm just limiting it to 10 right now. And like, fortunately this morning I woke up and 2 were already gone. And then by noon, another one went.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It was great. It's funny because I didn't get any notifications on my phone. It was like I checked it in the morning, like hoping. And then I'm like, okay, nothing, no emails. And I looked through my spam and then it was like all there.
People are like, oh shit, there it is.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know why Gmail like puts my like website emails in spam sometime. Yeah, but yeah, so there's 7 left. I'll probably do another batch maybe in like October.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that, considering
Yeah, of course. That would be leaving money on the table. Yeah, of course. There's definitely going to be a Halloween batch, and I think I might have something special planned for Halloween. I'm not going to discuss it yet. And then that'll probably be it for the boost till the end of the year. Coming in like 2024, I have some plans. But yeah, I'm going to need some time to sit down and like build things and prototype. And...
be coming back next year.
Yeah. So I have some plans for doing some boosts in the next year, like after October. So when these 10 sell, depending, like if they sell relatively quickly, I'm going to do another batch in October, like for Halloween. And for Halloween, I have like a little something special planned that I'm not going to discuss. And that'll probably be it for the year. I won't make any more boosts after that. So it'll probably be 20 for the year.
People want to go and get this like right now. This is your only chance. There's 7 of them. There's going to be a second batch in October, and then that's it. Like, you want this batch.
I honestly, after October, I have some other projects that I'll be focusing on, and I would like to release another pedal maybe mid next year. But yeah, after that, I can't really say when the boost will come back. Like it will be around, but maybe not for a while.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what style of music do you listen to? Like, what do you play personally? You say you have a Telecaster there, and you play this. So, like, what?
That's a good question. To be honest, like it's funny. The more I do pedal stuff, the less I actually play guitar. Like, I realize like now I'm one of the guitarists when they're like, "Play us a song," and I'm like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I have good technical skills, but I can't. Like I got half a John Mayer song if you want that.
I don't learn a lot of songs. Like, I'm not actively learning. I've played for so long, and since I've been doing demos, like I just riff. Like,
Yeah, I'm the same.
Like, on a train Doom, so, like, just hold on. Like, but it's no actual song.
Exactly. Like I like all types of music. Like I listen to everything. Like lately I was on a kick with that Silk Sonic album. But then like the other day I was listening to Judas Priest, and then like another day was Killswitch Engage, and then like it'll be jazz one day. So like it's all over the place. But the Telly is just, I don't know. I had like an allure to Telecasters in the last couple of years.
Very nice.
Before that, I was always like Les Pauls and things.
Yeah. I find them overly heavy.
Yeah, well, honestly, like, I think if they're done properly, they shouldn't be heavy.
If they're
like,
chambered.
Well, even like the old ones are not that heavy. So like this myth of them having to be heavy, and then people wanted heavy ones, and then Gibson makes them heavier, and then like, yeah, I hate heavy guitars.
Yeah, I have a Epiphone Classic Deluxe or something, and it's got to weigh like 12 pounds. It's extra beefy. It's very...
Yeah,
yeah.
And the big problem, like sometimes for Les Pauls, is like the necks are massive. And like I understand that's a thing of the Les Paul, but like I don't have, like I had like normal size hands, like they're not huge. So to get around like a 58 neck, like a baseball bat for me, I'm like, I can't do anything here.
Yeah, it's cutting down the riffability, man.
Yeah, well, sometimes I'll find a Les Paul I like, and then I'm like, all right, how much money can I scrape together as quickly as possible? What can I sell?
I've had those 100%.
Just freak out panic moments where I'm like, I need this. Yeah. But yeah, I play a variety of music, but if you sat down and asked me to play it, like, again, a couple of songs. But yeah, like when I play a lot of blues, like I studied jazz in college.
Okay.
Yeah, you're Canadian, so you know the college-university difference.
Yes.
So it's like, it's the same thing for music. You all study the same stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I did jazz just because, well, there's only so many options.
During COVID, you got into building. Did you have any previous background with electronics or anything like that? Or did you just like see that video Jay does and you're like, man, this is awesome. I want to build guitar playlists.
Well, I know how to put batteries in things, so that's like some electronics knowledge.
Or like fucking around.
First of all, like I started reading about it. Like I bought a kit, which is essentially like Lego. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. Soldering can't be that hard. And I'm like, sometimes I was watching some soldering videos, and like sometimes the people in the videos, I'm like, not to be rude, but if this guy can do it, I think I can do it.
Yeah, I went to the CNC watching videos because I built pedals a bit. I got some kits myself, like the T-Tone Fuzz and Long Clone and stuff, and like they're fun, but I'm more into doing the demoing side of it, other than actually building the pedal. For fun, the ability to be able just to solder something is really fun.
It's just like, I don't know, for me it just like scratched some weird OCD, ADHD itch in me, and I was like, this is fun. And at the end I did it because I wanted like really famous pedals, and I didn't have money to buy them.
Yeah.
But then,
yeah, no, man, I hear that a lot. Like just people that wanted this sound, they wanted the tone, But you're again with clone, you're not going to go out and buy an original one. That's why there's clones of that pedal. Like,
yeah, well, it's like the problem is like now everything has a clone, and now it's like you have these hyper expensive pedals, and then everything else like it's kind of a flood of pedals, which is great because like I honestly have the opinion. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to mention it's like Azure, and there's a whole bunch of them on Amazon, and they're all the same fucking pedal. Like the outside's different companies, but if you take it off, it's all the exact same shit, and I'll say like Joyo on the inside or something. It's all the same.
Rebranded.
It's absolutely crazy. That's why, like,
But even with small builders, like, there's so many small builders.
And love into these pedals. You know what I mean? Like, there's actual passion in it, and it's from a passionate place, and that's really like why I got into doing what I'm doing, and I'm sure that's why you did in other builders, and it's the best.
Yeah, and like the big thing about this too is like it's all done by hand. Like I obviously don't make the PCBs myself. I live in a one-bedroom apartment. I don't have room for that kind of machinery. But like I sit there, I bend wires by hand, like I'm bending them over my fingers. Like it's all done by hand. That's why everyone looks like if you open up every pedal, it's slightly different. The bends are slightly different.
That's 100%.
And like you can see my writing too. Like my penmanship on the serial numbers isn't amazing. So like that's why like I like designing stuff because I can get perfect. And I can eliminate human error. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I have the prototype here, although it's changed shape a lot.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's also my test unit. You can see like I can switch transistors when I'm testing if they're good or not. And then like, so funny story. I'll show you this. When I first did the ones to send to everyone, so yours and the other four, I made a huge mistake in my drilling. So I have again, the company that does the enclosures, the painting for me also has a drilling service. So I asked them to do my drilling, and at the last minute, I just changed a measurement because I was like, I think I forgot to move the switch up or something. Like in my mind, I was just like, okay, I got to. Oh yeah. This is, and I rushed, and I was like, okay, I got to move this. I was like, yeah, I think that's right. That's good. So I got all these boxes, and then I tried to put them together, and I put the jacks in, and when I tried to put the switch, it wouldn't go in because it was too close, and I burned the 5 boxes meant for you guys and 2 prototypes of special editions. All garbage. No, I mean, like, I think I'm going to use them for a promo item or something.
I was going to say, are you still going to use the enclosures and something else, like build a different pedal to put in it? And like,
the problem is they're all painted now. But I could also do them as B-stock and just take the switch out.
That's true, yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I might just keep them as a reminder to be like, slow down. Anytime I'm like starting to rush, I'll just look at the box and be like,
I've got to remind myself that like, don't get too excited, man. Like, calm down because that's what happens, right?
Yeah. Organization and like breathe and like you don't have to do everything right now. Like make sure. Like what is the thing? Measure twice, cut once.
Yes, 100%. And I built houses for years, and it's more like measure 10 fucking times. Because it doesn't matter, it's always going to be wrong. I absolutely hate a geometry.
No, yeah, it's incredible. Like, building these pedals, I hit every speed bump like I didn't even know existed. Because I screwed up the enclosures. What's that?
Right? You jump into it. Just wanting to like, experiment, and you're going in cold pretty much, and just...
Well, the thing is, I thought I was prepared. That's the worst part. I was like, this is all good, everything's rolling, and then like, bam, 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 like, bunch of mistakes. Like, pedals that don't work, and I'm like, oh my god.
Man, it's a learning process, and I think you nailed it. This really does sound amazing. I love it. I think it's my favorite boost pedal. I'm gonna have lots more videos up on it again at 10 tonight. I'm dropping one and I'm putting it. Well, what you heard earlier when we started this, it's the first custom pedal, the Dumble Destroyer here, the very fancy, super heavy. But again, I found it lacked a little mid, so with the help of this, it just sounds so amazing.
Yeah, nice. It really, like, it's interesting. It can give you more of what you already have, but it also gives its own character. Like, I got some previews from the other demoers, and I realized an interesting character that was shared between the sounds I heard in your video and from the MP3s from another reviewer. And it's like, when you get it really high into an amp that starts, like, cooking, it almost gets like a fuzzy, like, the way a fuzz face reacts in the sense, like, it decays weird, and it, like...
It forces a breakup on it. It's really neat.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, I have a Katana at home for testing, so, like, it does the purposes, but it doesn't do that. It doesn't react in that way. And it's really interesting. I heard in your clips and his, and I was like, okay, so I'm not just imagining it. It's, like, confirming results.
Yeah, well, again, I use my down-tuned guitar. It's a beast to begin with and super low, and then going through the crush, the dark tones, and then I have Cannabis Rex with the hemp back tones in here, so it's all very dark and kind of built for doom and stuff. So I'm excited to see the other videos because I do super doom and like super heavy metal stuff, so I'm curious to see what the other guys did, hear the different effects they have with their amps and guitars and stuff.
Well, that's really why I wanted to choose, like, 5 different people. Unfortunately, one is going to have to be delayed. We had a couple of issues with postal service. I won't say anything. But anyways, yeah, it happens. That's why postal insurance. It's fine. But anyways, I tried to choose, like, 5 people that kind of went over a variety of things, right? Because sometimes you see people, like, demo a pedal, it's all the same styles. Yeah. Like, okay, this pedal only does this. So I was like, well, Tony Iommi used a treble booster, Brian May used a treble booster, Jimmy Page, like, a wide range of people.
Yeah, it's so versatile. It can be used in any kind of mix, and it's really smart that you got it out to a bunch of different people and play styles and stuff like that, because, like, a big reason why I started doing this, too, is I'd never seen a lot of just, like, turn it on and fucking give it guitar video and demos and stuff like that. I know a lot of people will use a computer if they don't like the sound of the pedal personally. They'll run it through their DAW on their computer and tweak it on there, and then have it come to their amps. And then when you buy the pedal, that's not what it sounds like whatsoever.
Yeah, well, so I also, like, it's so hard to replicate what it's going to sound like in a room, especially on video.
Well, that's why I try and get as close as possible. I'm using the Super Crush 100, and, like, it's an affordable amp, right? People can just grab it. I'm using that Epiphone. You can just deep down tune your Epiphone, throw it on the Super Crush. I'm trying to get as close as possible. I'm not even mic'd up. All I do is turn it wicked loud and just.
It's surprising. Like, I've learned slowly over building pedals and, like, playing for years. Like, it sounds bad. Louder is better. Because, like, some people can't turn up, but, like, louder is better.
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to be able to turn up. This is the new studio I just got the house. I'm renting a place, which is nice instead of an apartment like I thought I would, because it'd be really hard to do what I do in an apartment.
Yeah, it's hard to do anything out of an apartment.
Get right up, and my neighbors don't mind. They play guitar too, and I hear their music all the time. So it's really nice. I'm able to, I'm able to turn it up louder here than I have been before. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I understand how loud it is. Like, I really do crank the fucking shit out of this amp. It's
hard because, like, over a phone, like, the phone will start to, like, naturally compress the sound. And also, too, like, your phone has technology and, like, certain processes to try to, like, optimize things.
Yeah.
So it'll kind of equalize it. So that's why, like, sometimes people say like, oh, it doesn't sound the same as a video. It's like, well, you're getting compression from microphones, you're getting compression from YouTube, like you're getting compression from your phone, like you're getting all these filters. So it's like, I always tell people, try it if you can. But also too, like you just got to find like reviewers like you trust their opinion.
Yeah, 100%, just honest shit. Yeah. This sound like.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's hard because like, well, it's great and it's like a double-edged sword. Like with the internet, where we can reach all these other people, but then also too, like you are kind of beholden to videos and demos. So like the best you can do is like try and like that's why I chose 5 different people. I've said this so many times, like because like the worst thing is when you see a video and you're like, I've never played any of that gear. I have no idea what any of that sounds like.
My $10,000 amp to like I'm playing $4,000 PRS, and it's like, well, what the fuck? Like, I don't, much is not gonna sound anywhere close to that. Like
I'll never play a Dumble probably just because like I'm poor. Like,
so same. Like I broke as fuck. I don't charge for my videos at all. It's a passion. I just love collecting pedals and I love playing them. So like. Yeah, the Dumbles, I really love their guitars and I really want one. But again, I don't have like the cash to go and just drop and buy a $2,000 guitar. Luckily, you're in Canada, Long McQuaid's. You can go and they just finance. So that's the best thing
I got this telly. And the telly is like a metallic purple. So a special edition. Here, I'll grab it.
Yeah.
1 second, I can't knock over my like camera setup.
Yeah, there's only 7 of these left.
And remember, too, like, you have a discount code in your video. You can get 15% off right now.
Yeah, Riff 15% off. There's only 7 left. You're going to want to jump on this. There's only one more batch coming in October.
Yeah, I remember, like, the discount code is only good for 2 weeks. So if you miss it, you miss it.
There you go. Only good for 2 weeks. I'm definitely going to clip that out, and I'll put it up and make a reel, adjust that as well.
Great. So anyways, onto my telly. It's hard to see. It always looks blue.
Oh, beautiful.
It's so hard to see the metallic. But it's a very subtle metallic sparkle. If you get close, you can see it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great little guitar. And like it's an a Squire, like classic vibe.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, they're great guitars. I mean, like any cheap guitar, some aren't so great, but like once in a while you can find a real diamond.
Well, yeah, I actually love Epiphone. I bought this in 2016, and it's just my main workhorse. It's got cracks and bumps all over it. I've dropped it. Everything's happened to it. I've thrown it.
I'm the same with my guitar. Like I don't try to damage it, but also like
shit happens.
It's my guitar. Like I'm gonna hit it off stuff.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I did have a gift at one point, and I like bump it because I financed it, and I'd bump it and just be like, fuck, like that's right now it's gonna be amps and
So 1 second, I realized like I was watching the comments. Somebody had a question. Am I putting out a line of Halloween spooky themed pedals? I don't know. Right now, I'll just have the boost because it was a good pun. And like it happened to be like not a victim of circumstance, but like a opportunity like arised. I'm like, I have these parts to make a boost pedal. Yeah, at the time it was almost Halloween. I'm like, I think I can do this in a month. And like, no. It took me like 8 months, almost a year.
But there though, you think you can do it this time? You have it all planned out, and once you start digging in, you're like, oh, there is so much stuff.
And like, I could have done it in a month, but it would have been like so amateur, and like I wanted to do it right. But yeah, so for other Halloween themed pedals, like, I don't know. I've had some ideas of doing a compilation, like not a compilation, but like working with other companies and doing like a multi-pedal that maybe is Halloween themed or like something like that.
Multi-pedals are cool.
Yeah.
I seen one today. I forget who it was. Loud as something pedals. I forget his name, but it was like a chorus, memory man.
Ooh.
There's like things in one pedal. It's just this giant fucking pedal with all this different stuff in it. So combination pedals are super cool. Like I was gonna say, with color variant for the next.
Exactly. Well, I think what I'd like to do is take my Boost and maybe two or three other pedal companies that have a similar, maybe monster theme pedal.
Panic Devices here has commented he is down for a collab multi-pedal with.
Great, good. I have a couple in mind too. And then
Awesome.
I have an idea for some more monster themed stuff.
That's perfect. Me and my wife were actually talking about that. It would be cool for a serial killer, like the horror movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Freddy Krueger one and like a Pinhead one, and just like I thought that'd be cool. Like fire pedaling, you could just do a whole line of that, and then monsters, and I don't know. I get carried away.
The thing is, I have to make good puns for all of them because I'm known as like the guy who does puns.
He has 100% monster themed pedals. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's Matt from Block. Amazing building. Make some.
That's good. But like, definitely, I have to think of puns for everything because that's my thing now.
Okay.
Because at least I'm trying. I'm trying to make it the thing. Also, too, like I have another prototype I'm working on for the new pedal. And
is there anything you can on that, or is that all?
It involves a pun.
Oh,
like
okay.
Unsurprisingly.
Okay, but that let us know what kind of pedal or anything. It's all secret.
Guitar pedal.
Oh, you bastard!
No, I can't say mine. That's gonna ruin it because also it's not going to be around for a while. That's why.
We're focusing our attention right now on the amazing Boost
at least till the end of this year. It's all Boost all this year.
I want to see a Scream-themed pedal as an octave. A Scream-themed octave pedal. That would be neat.
Definitely. Like, there's so many, like, ideas you can do. Like, that's actually probably the most fun thing is just coming up with, like, dumb ideas and seeing, like, can I make it work? Or, like, good ideas, dumb ideas, anything.
It's amazing to actually come to life, like, come to fruition from planning it, thinking about it, and then seeing the actual like end effect of it. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's kind of addicting, to be honest. Like, I get really into it, and then I have to tell myself, like, no, I gotta stop. Like, I need to spend time like away from this.
Yeah. I gotta get in one more pedal, like.
Yeah, or it's usually like little projects. Like, I'll show you. Sorry, I'm sitting in front of my work desk. Like, I've been working on this power supply for my bench. Like, it's just
okay.
But, like, I completely wired it wrong the other day, so I had to cut it all and fix it.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, rushing, and I didn't have forethought. But, yeah, it's like little things like this, like, I'm always tinkering away at. And it'll be, like, 9, and I'll be like, okay, I have a normal job. I gotta do that, too.
Forget, like, you don't realize you just spent, like, 4 hours.
Yeah. And you can spend a lot of money making prototypes. Like, you're like, it's so cheap. And then you're like, oh, I made like 15 prototypes and like I'm out a couple $100.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun also too, like to take these concepts to other areas, like making other like fun consumer electronics.
Yeah. I like what?
I'm trying to make a soundboard.
Oh.
Like,
nice.
just like a fun one for like sports. So like you can just hit button, like an arcade button, and it'll play like some sports
That'd
sound clip.
be like not necessarily musician streamers, but just streamers who want that effects board on the side to like the clapping or whatever.
It's a practical effect too. So if you want a really cheesy clap or something, it's great. If you want super non-professional soundboard, it's gonna be great. But that's like just a fun side project for like my dad.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And things like that. I make like some more boutique like electronic projects like night lights and things like that. Like, unfortunately, there's so many pedal companies, which is great, and it's great everyone's there, but like, you know, you can't sustain yourself just on pedals in the beginning, so you got to branch out.
Yes. So I realized what happened in COVID is like pretty much everybody I've talked to, almost everybody I've talked to, and who has come on Riff Talks, they started in COVID. They're like, I was locked in my house. I love guitar. Got into building pedals. Like almost everyone, and it's amazing because it's like, wow, you've been doing this for like just a year, you know, 2 years. That's absolutely amazing.
Well, first off, like nobody had anything to do, so like you had this time to like hyper focus on a skill. Yo, exactly. So like over COVID, so many little companies popped up and they're like doing crazy good work. And like also to COVID is like all the niche DIY hobby stuff exploded.
Yeah.
Like during COVID, like the COVID depression, I got really into trading card games again. And then I was like, I gotta stop this because I was just like, I have extra money from the government because of COVID, which like was very nice. I did need it sometimes, so that was very nice. But like, you get surplus money, and you're like, oh, this looks interesting, and the next thing you know, you're like balls deep in it.
Yeah. I have ADHD and I hyper focus super hard. Last summer,
obsessive. Yeah.
Was D&D. I like, oh, D&D looks cool one day, and then I bought like the trilogy of books. I bought the big coffin set for Strad. I hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Now months later, I'm selling it. Just like, well, that was, and I've collected all of the stuff to collect. Well, yeah. On to the next thing.
And the worst part about trading card games is like it's essentially gambling when you buy packs. And
yeah,
like, also too, like it's never ending. Especially like I played more like Yu-Gi-Oh! And a little bit of Pokemon just because I like the
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is fucking crazy.
It's almost as bad as that Magic stuff. Like Magic is like a money.
Magic. I never was able to really get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they had so many new, like, the pendulum things, and, like, one turn you can lay, like, 30 fucking cards. And
yeah, I was out of it, like, the last time I was, like, a kid, and then I came back and I went, oh, this is different. And I'm like, this is very expensive. But the crazy thing about them, those companies, which is so evil, is, like, they ban cards.
Yep.
And they force you to buy new stuff.
Yeah.
Did you hear about me at ElectroJunk pedals? Like, buy a boost, good forever. Don't kick it.
Series they had Lord of the Rings one. A guy in Whitby.
No,
Whitby, Ontario.
I didn't see.
So it's the Lord of the Rings magic cards.
Okay.
And they only made one card, one ring. So it was like a one of one, the ring. Out of the whole series, and somebody found it in Ontario or in Canada.
I'll be honest, though, I respect that. Like, I would love to do that as a company. Like,
$2 million.
Like, just Willy Wonka someone.
Yeah, percent insane. I'm just gonna plug this here. If you do like trading card games, one just kind of came about a couple of years ago. It's actually out of Woodstock, Ontario. I want to say it's Legions of War, and it plays a lot different than Magic. It's more kind of like old school. It's really super fun to play. You should check it out. It's really cool. Legions, Realms at War.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I got to be careful though. I get sucked into these things. It's like crack. Well, that's like a pet. Essentially, that's why I went so crazy with pedals. I just got sucked in.
Yeah. A few years ago. I think it was like 2019, 2018, I got my first guitar pedal, and it was a Dispatch Master.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Just fell in love with it. Well, so before that, my friend gave me one of the old Big Muff Pies in the giant case, and then the first one I bought was the Dispatch Master. And I got so addicted, I spent so much money just collecting all the pedals, trying to like chase the tone, you get mad gas and stuff, and then eventually... last year, pretty much, I started doing this and just fueled the hyperfixation, man. You know, the ADHD need the pedals, need the tone.
Yeah, well, and luckily now, like, one of the benefits of having all these different companies is, like, you can really make a unique looking board. Like, that's one cool, like, it's now, like, in all modern society, like, it's all about expressing yourself and, like, having customization to show these things. And, like, it's nice you can do it with your pedal board now. It's not just, like, everyone has the same Boss pedals or Ibanez.
Yeah, it's more personalized. You can actually just get it completely personalized.
Yeah, and it says something about you sometimes.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's the whole thing. Like, it's really neat how far in the past couple of years pedals have come, to be completely honest, and builders and just like people that didn't really want to build before getting into it because of circumstance, like yourself, and then coming out with like an actual pedal, you know, an actual piece of equipment that you've built over the time and you've been thinking about and like planning. It's really neat. I love watching all of this happen because COVID was fucking horrible. So I'm glad to see people growing from that, man. That, like, it's awesome.
Well, yeah, it's
very glad to see
the burst of creativity.
Yeah.
Creators.
Nothing else. You got to do something, you know? So, like, it's really good to see.
Yeah, you got to do something. And also, too, like, we live in Canada, so, like, winter sucks. So you got to do something in the winter.
Yeah, we pretty much have COVID yearly.
Yeah.
Like 8.
Yeah, if you're not a winter person, yeah, it's pretty horrible.
Exactly. Well, it's been amazing having you on Riff Talks. Thank you for coming on and being the first guest on Riff Talks coming back.
Yeah, I'm glad, and thank you for having me on and being the first guest. It was great.
It's been super awesome, and like I'd love to have you on again anytime. Just let me know and promote.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll come on again in like October when I have the new batch.
You should, yeah. Announce the new batch. You can come on before or after. Before, if you want, and announce what's going on. And yeah, again, people, there's only 7 of these left. 7. Go
get it fast.
Yeah. 15. You're gonna want to get this batch.
All right, man. Have a good night.
All right. You have a wonderful night, man. Peace and love as always from the Riff Mountain.
See you around.